So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just highlight the problems between the ethics or bioethics in my turn and the moral ethics, and then I ask you to decide the things where we are going to be. So first of all, the objective of the session just to discuss the key ethical issues in relation to the medical practice. So what are the problems we are having in the medical practice, and also try to recognize the moral dilemmas. They are not always linked with the ethics. The ethics is somewhere else and the moral dilemma is somewhere else, and most of us, we more or less confuse the ethics with morals and ethics with morals. So that's the way we are going to do now. So as far as I am concerned, it might be wrong, but as far as I am concerned, ethics is more or less the balance between the right and the wrong, but for the moral is the balance between good and the bad. So I always show this to my students. This is the ethics, the conflict between the ethics and the moral dilemma. So this person has died because he is waiting for the embryonic stem cells to be treated. He waited, the ethics has not been cleared, so he couldn't be treated, he died and he went to heaven. And then there's a little child there, it's next to him in the heaven, and the child was the embryo that was more or less destroyed to produce the stem cells for him. Both are dead now. So the problem is the conflict between the ethics and the morals. And before I start, I just wanted to ask you, most of you have done the questionnaire, the 6 questions from Professor Hoffman, I think in the morning. How many of you got all of them correct? Probably everybody, I think. I purposely got it 2 wrong. The first one was wrong and the last one was wrong. Why? Because ethically, I should have got all of them correct, but morally, my morals didn't allow me to do the first one correctly and didn't allow me to do the last one correctly. The first one was about, if you have a flu, I will stay at home, but I will work. That is my moral, and when I asked to others, most of them said yes, they will do so as well. So how come you got it right? And the last one, probably, please forgive me, that is my morals. If anybody who's traveling with me, who's driving and playing with the phone, I will grab the phone and throw it away. That is my morals. So can you see the conflicts between the morals and the ethics? I mean, I can claim, I'm an academic, I want to be a bioethically or ethically correct person. I can claim it everything right because I know the right answer. But I don't want to do it because that is where my morals comes in.
But
yes?
Can I say, your second and the 5 point answer isn't wrong. You should, in the first place, say you shouldn't do this. But in the second place, when you are not here, then you grasp and show it away.
Yeah,
this is the second.
But the problem is, I live in a problem. You also say same. I live in a country that it is lawfully, it's unlawful to have a phone in your hand. So he should know, or he or she should know. So I thought, and then again, I got a very short patience span. So I do that, right? So we'll move away. So as far as the bioethics is concerned, I'm talking specifically about bioethics because I'm from a medical field. So I thought that there will be some medical staff here as well, so I can highlight a slightly different slant. So the bioethics or ethics in research is actually covers the professional practice and the data gathering practice. So you got to report whatever you have seen, not whatever you wanted to show. So sometimes you do a research and then you are in the belief that this is the result should be, but you will get a completely opposite results. You got to show that, and then you got to give the credits to the people who have contributed that, and then you try to avoid plagiarism. And you all know that we've been talking from the morning. As far as data gathering is concerned, you got to make sure that whoever the patients or the subjects, or I mean, I am a placentologist. I collect placenta, human placenta. Placenta nobody wants after the baby is born, is normally thrown away. But I need to do an ethical approval for that, which will take more or less two years to get it approved in my country. But I got to go through that because it's a human tissue. And you got to get an informed consent from the patient, whether it's a mother or whether it's a person who is donating something. That will take some time. And also, no harm should be done purposely to the subjects. And then you've got to maintain the privacy, anonymity, confidentiality. But these ethics sometimes conflict with the values because there are some morals as well. The ethics is actually, the moral is actually underpinning the ethics, but not always. That is my point. Because as far as I am concerned, the morals is self, is mine. So is more or less related to my religion and also the way I've been brought up. But the ethics is not, it is by the law. It's a people or a community enforcing this is the right way to do it. So this is what I've been more or less searching about the difference between ethics and morals. I don't know, there are some Greek here. So the ethics come from a word from Greek it's called ethos, is that right? So that means character. On the other hand, morals come from a word, Latin, mos means customs.
But Cicero, he translated ethos with morals.
Yeah, so that's a different story, and that's what I'm going to highlight in a minute. Right. The ethics is external, it's actually imposed by the society or a government or any governing body. But the morals is within. I mean, we have, each one of us have got our own morals. And ethics is usually linked by an act of law, and the moral is usually linked with the culture or religion or from where they are coming from. I'm just saying usually linked. And so the conflict is I'm going to give some example of conflict. Freedom of speech versus religious criticism. Freedom of speech means I can speak whatever I want. I mean, in UK you can talk about religion. In a way, you can be criticizing. But if I do that in Middle Eastern countries, I will be gone. Right? Because their ethics based on their morals.
Yes.
Okay? So the other problem is vaccine production against animal cruelty. So vaccine production is important to save several people, but the other side of it, the animal cruelty people, they will say, oh, you are killing the animals, so on and so forth. So that is another conflict. The third one is, again, polygamy versus cultural beliefs. I mean, polygamy is banned here, but in some countries, that is not banned. So there is a conflict between the morals and the cultural, the ethics. That's what I'm trying to highlight here. And then still there's I'm not going to give you an answer for that. I'm just going to give you the question that when you do your research or do your studies, you've got to think about in your studies whether you are doing the ethical way or the moral way. If you ask me, we got to stick on to the ethics, not with the morals. Right. So this is where you are going to talk with me. We have done this yesterday as well. So I'm going to present two different scenarios here. Again, unfortunately, from a medical background, but anybody with a common sense, you can argue for or against Natalie Evans. So let me explain about Natalie Evans. In 2001, Natalie Evans has been diagnosed as having from ovarian cancer. It's a really nasty disease, and that means she got to go through the chemotherapy. And as you all know, if you go to the chemotherapy, the chances of the overproduction will be stopped. So she decided with her husband, right, I'm going to go into chemotherapy, I'm not going to have any children. So before the chemotherapy, I harvest some ova, and then by in vitro fertilization, they have fertilized 6 ova and the fertilized ova has been frozen so that when Natalie finishes her cancer treatment, she can come back and then implant the ova into the womb, and then she can have a baby. So everything went well, but unfortunately the only thing that didn't go well is the marriage. They broke up. So the husband was separated, and husband got married, but Natalie didn't. So now Natalie wanted to have a baby. So she already got the frozen egg, so she wanted to implant it, and she got a court injunction from the husband that I am withdrawing my consent to Natalie to have a baby. And probably those of you from UK, you know the answer, and the others probably would have read the answer. The answer was the judge decided to destroy all 6 embryos. So my question is, you got to take ethics as well as morals in your mind. I wanted you to argue whether the judge's decision was correct, morally correct, and also ethically correct. I mean, to be honest, as a scientist, I would say I would support the judge's decision, because everybody had the right to remove their consent. But as a human being, if I see Natalie's husband, I will slap him. I will definitely slap him. That is my moral. Because that is the only chance Natalie is going to have a biologically own baby. She can adapt a baby, she can have another embryo, fertilized embryo implant, but her own blood, or something to say, her own blood, that is the only chance. Those 6 embryos are the only chance. But her husband has destroyed that. Right, let me come back to the husband's side. Husband had married and he got his own children. His argument was, I got my children, I am dedicated to my current wife, I don't want any other child calling me a father. Can you see the husband's dilemma? So you want to talk, sorry.
I think the chances of having children were destroyed by the cancer, not by the husband.
Pardon?
I think the chances of having children were destroyed by the cancer.
Yes. So it started a long time ago, but if they had lived together, then the problem would have solved, but unfortunately it didn't happen.
But I agree with the judge.
Yeah. So this is the problem, that morally, I mean, to be honest, this is the last chance for her. Morally is not correct, but ethically, he has, or even she has, the right to withdraw his consent. That's one of the problems. So the second one is about, which very recently happened, is about Charlie Bird. It was on the papers and everywhere. Probably you would have read it, that the boy Charlie was born with the mitochondrial disease or DNA depletion syndrome. That means his brain has damaged even before it developed. So it's fully damaged, not in party damage or whatever, fully damaged. And then there is a history of battle between the Great Ormond Street Hospital and the parents. The parents found out by media and by communication, found out that there is a university hospital in USA. They are trying to develop a new kind of treatment against this disease with about 60 to 85% success, but not with the Charlie's condition, because Charlie's condition is very, very advanced. So whatever they have 65 to 85% success is a slightly different condition. At the early stage, if you detect at early stage, it has got 65 to 85% chances of treating. But Charlie was diagnosed very late, and so the parents believed that by going to America and then giving this treatment, the baby can survive and then live normally. But the Great Ormond Street the physicians and specialists, they believe that even after the experimental approach, the approach might treat the baby, but the brain damage is permanent. So that baby is not going to have a normal living life. And then in the end, they went to up to the Supreme Court, and they even tried the European Court, but the European Court said that we are not going to intervene. Maybe because of Brexit, I don't know. But it's not maybe because of the Brexit, because it's a complicated thing, and then they don't want to intervene with that. But so my question is that who is right here? Again, most of you have children. Think about as your parent, you are a parent, and answer this question.
Nobody is right. Why? The question bases on technical development.
Exactly.
And the technical development gives a false hope. They think that they could, with a technical approach or procedure, save a life. But is our life only a technical life?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
in a normal case, such children will die, and this child died. But through this technical development, one of professors from Basel University said, technical can cause problems. Humanities are solving them because they are seeing the bright picture. The technicals made a very, very small view or small part of life. And this is our sin in our thinking. That we are saying, yeah, technical development will save our world. No, the technical development will destroy our world. Think about Japan with their atomical.
That's a slightly different story. But what I'm trying to say is, if I am a parent, if I was
Yes.
dad to that child, I would take the same decision. I will go to the court and fight until whatever the decision we get. Because that is what parents, that is our morals. This is my child. But the ethical wise, what they looked at it, the court looked at it, only one thing. Whether that baby can lead a normal life without anybody's help, the chances are nil. Then they decide the respiratory support should be withdrawn. So on the ethical point of view, that what court did was entirely correct.
Yes.
But morally, I mean, we are in two minds because we are connected with love and other things. But ethics should be about those kind of human things. Right. So I'm going to almost stop there. So I just wanted to highlight the problems, the conflict between the ethics and the morals. And then there are conflicts between ethics and the moral in the case of abortion or euthanasia, suicide. Do not resuscitate. Who is going to decide? Do not resuscitate. I was on that area for about 2 years ago. My mom was diagnosed. I mean, she was so ill. She wanted to die. She's bleeding, and then the doctors called me. You got to decide whether, when she goes down, whether to resuscitate or not. I took, I mean, as a scientist, it took about half a day for me to decide. In the end, I decided, but it's very, very difficult question because it's my mom. I'm a scientist, but it's my mom. One more day she lives with me is better for me. But in the end, I decided, yes, that is good for her, not good for me. And then like determination of the dead, cloning, that's another area. Human experimentation, birth control, in vitro fertilization, stem cells or homosexuality, that's another area we haven't explored or we don't want to explore, especially we are academics, so we don't want to go into that. But I think in my university, the problem of homosexuality is coming up. We need to intervene and help the students neutrally. So I'm just highlighting that when these problem comes, you stick with the ethics or bioethics, not with your morals. With that, I'll stop. Oh, yeah, if you have any questions.